But when man fell from grace, when man sinned, man was eternally separated from God. But due to the judgmental commandment of God upon humanity, the possibility of the shadow of God to be cast on the earth, wherein the dust was that man was created from, was possible. And God, knowing that the earth is his footstool, and so when the earth is his footstool, his shadow will definitely cast on the earth. He utilized his shadow to reach out to man, because man was already internally separated from him. But he utilized his shadow to reach out to man. How do I mean? If you look at the Old Testament, before the advent of salvation, after the advent of the Garden of Eden, which is the era of substance, you discover that God still related with man, despite the fact that man was internally separated from God. Even when man was internally separated from God, the Bible says Noah found grace in the sight of God. Even when men was internally, or human beings were internally separated from God, courtesy of the death that man died by eating the forbidden fruits, yet God still have a man after his own heart, talking about David, the son of Jesse. Despite the eternal separation from the Almighty, courtesy of the word death, yet God still had a friend in Papa Abraham. Despite the eternal separation from God, courtesy of the death that man, but God subscribed to, courtesy of his sin, courtesy of the rebellious act which man carried out in the Garden of Eden. Yet God was still able to advocate, or rather to stand in the defense of Job as a man that eschewed evil. So why was all that possible? God could speak to the prophets, could use Moses mightily, even when man was internally separated from God, courtesy of death. Why is that possible? It's because of God's shadow that is cast on the earth. God's shadow is cast on the earth. The earth is God's footstool. And the Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And from the sweat of the face of man, because of the internal separation that man has gotten now, is now experiencing, as it were, during the era of shadow with God, the internal separation, which is death. Man ought not to, as it were, have any fellowship with God, because God is life. But God, in his infinite mercies and knowledge, and for knowledge, made an adequate provision that supplanted and outwit the trickiness and the wittiness of the serpent. He created an opportunity in the judgment that from the sweat of thy face shall thou eat bread, and the thorns and berries shall the earth provide for thee, or something like that. And that until thou return unto the earth, for out of it thou was created, and dust thou art, and dust shalt thou return. So Satan was happy, thinking that he has won the battle. But to his amazement and surprise, he discovered that he only just started losing, and he will keep on losing. He will keep on losing, and he will completely fail. And he has already failed completely. On the cross, he failed woefully. The Bible says, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. So that is about that.